Welcome to Sovereign Reality with Natalie, a podcast for women done playing small. I'm Natalie, metaphysical guide and metaphorical keeper of the flame. Each week, we will channel the power of a different goddess, her myth, her message, and her medicine, so that you can rise, reclaim, and remember who the hell you are. The world doesn't need you quiet, babe. It needs you lit up. So let's rise. Hey, beautiful souls, welcome back. I'm so thrilled to be here with you today because we're stepping into the energy of Quan Yin. She's the bodhisattva of compassion, mercy, and loving kindness. Her name literally means she who hears the cries of the world. Ugh. Now, I don't know about you, but that alone makes my heart open a little bit wider. Quan Yin's energy is soft, tender, and deeply nurturing. Make no mistake though, she is definitely fierce as well, but her strength isn't in domination or control. It's in presence, in empathy, and in transforming suffering into love, showing up fully for others without losing herself, and reminding us that compassion is a form of sovereignty, being gentle and strong at the same time. So, who is she really? Historically, Quan Yin is one of the most beloved spiritual figures across East Asia, China, Japan, Korea, and her origins are in Buddhism, Mahayana Buddhism to be exact. She's revered for centuries as a goddess who responds to suffering, who listens to the cries of the world, and who offers guidance, protection, and healing. But here's the kicker. Her story, just like all of the other goddesses, was also reshaped by patriarchal systems over time. Originally, Quan Yin was sometimes depicted as male or gender neutral in early Buddhist traditions. As patriarchal structures solidified, her story and imagery shifted to fit more socially acceptable forms of femininity. So soft, nurturing, gentle. Her fierce compassion and her ability to hold space for suffering without compromise, even her assertive mercy, were qualities that were softened or just downright muted. But today, she's getting her voice back, and all of us together can reclaim her energy in full. Now, when you look at her imagery, you'll see that there's so much to unpack. She's often shown holding a vase of nectar, sometimes a willow branch, standing on a lotus flower, and sometimes even with 1,000 arms reaching out. Each of these symbols has a lesson. The lotus tells us to rise above the muck, to stay pure even when surrounded by challenges. The willow branch reminds us to bend without breaking. The vase of nectar represents her healing energy. She brings refreshment, cleansing, and nurturing to those in need. And those 1,000 arms, they symbolize that compassion is limitless. You can reach out, help, and hold space for so many people without running dry. One of my favorite stories about her is how she vowed to hear the cries of all beings and offer help to anyone in need. The story goes that she once saw the suffering of the world and was so moved that she vowed she would never rest until every being who called upon her received guidance or support. In some versions, she was granted 1,000 arms and eyes so she could reach and see every soul, helping wherever help was needed. So let's just think about that for a second. The image of someone who fully commits to compassion, holds space for the entire world without losing herself. That's what Quan Yin embodies. My personal relationship to Quan Yin started fairly early on into my spiritual awakening, I would say. She felt like a very safe goddess. And I'm trying to rack my brain, thinking back how I was introduced to her, and the only thing that I can come up with is that I learned about her during my yoga teacher training. It was a 16-day immersive in Hawaii. It was amazing. Shout out to Yandara Yoga, by the way. But if I'm remembering this correctly, this was 10 years ago now, so, Mama's getting a little older, and my memories may not be as good. But I'm pretty sure that's where I first sort of learned about her and dabbled in that a little bit. And then we learned about the Hindu goddesses as well. Not maybe not all of them, but definitely Durga was one of them. But anyway, I just remember not attaching to her, not like that. That sounds very codependent, but relying on her when I was in the trenches of my healing. You know, it gets depressing sometimes, spiritual awakenings. It can feel really dark, and there's a lot of stuff that you face, and a lot of, for me, a lot of things that I had not dealt with fully, grieved fully. So there was a lot of feelings and a lot of darkness at times. And I remember specifically just, I associate her with rose quartz. So I would just lay with rose quartz on my heart and just ask her to heal me, to help me feel better. That sometimes that's all I could do. And like I said, she just felt like a very safe goddess for me. The other safe goddess, I will say, was Mother Mary. Now, I'm not going to get into that whole story just yet because we have yet to unpack her. But, I remember, because I was raised Catholic, so I remember being a child and sitting in the pews, and there's just I don't know if you've ever been inside of a Catholic church. They usually always have Jesus on the cross. He's nailed and, he's got the thorn crown. And I just remember thinking how disturbing that image always felt. And then I would see the statue of Mother Mary, and she has roses at her feet and she's looking down, and the statue at my church at that time, she was so pretty. And I just remember being in awe of her, but I didn't feel a connection to her. I didn't have a personal relationship with her. I do now. And of course, you're taught the Hail Marys, you do all of that, but it's such a different experience because with Catholicism, the priest serves as your connection between them. And so to have a personal relationship with them, at least in my experience, that was my takeaway. It just didn't feel attainable at that time. And then, of course, as I got older, I absolutely actually drifted away from religion all around. And then I met my twin flame, and then boom, here we are, spiritual awakening, right? So Quan Yin served as that mother energy that I needed. I don't have a very close relationship with, where I didn't at the time. I didn't have a very close relationship with my own mom. So I needed something that felt pure and something that felt like it wasn't going to leave me. And for whatever reason, Quan Yin just really embodied that for me. And I swear to you, if you are going through something and you need instant support, call on Quan Yin. I promise you, she works so fast. You will be shocked. I mean, worst case, nothing changes, and I just sitting over here looking like Boo Boo the Fool. But, I'm hopeful that you'll at least try. And if you remember, in that moment to try, she will respond, and she responds quickly. So I just want to throw that out there. Anyway, as my spiritual awakening developed, I was constantly searching, and I was looking for the right fit. I was looking for the thing. And I think that's oftentimes what religion does, is it makes you feel like there's this thing that you have to grasp or attain, or some code that you have to live by in order to be a good person or acceptable. I don't know what the words are exactly, but I just feel like that's kind of what religion did. And spirituality, I don't know if I've ever seen that meme where it's religion is the fish in the bowl and spirituality is the fish in the ocean. It's that vibe. You're not confined to any one thing, and it's so liberating. But at the same time, if you're used to structure and you're used to I need this set of rules to live by, I mean, there's other places you can look to find it, but in that process for me, where I was looking for this other code of rules to live by, I found Buddhism. And then I also learned metta meditations through my yoga training as well. So metta meditations are essentially, you start with yourself and you give yourself loving kindness. And it's just simple words. I don't know for sure if there's one right way to say this, but I usually say, may you be happy, may you be peaceful, may you be well, may you be free. I might be wrong, but that's the way that I do it. So you start with yourself, you extend it out to somebody you love, send it out to somebody neutral, and then you send it out to somebody that you don't like. But what I found was that, like, early on, it was a bit challenging for me to give myself that compassion. I feel like a lot of us may struggle with that sometimes, where we're just so hard on ourselves and we don't take the time to give ourselves the compassion that we deserve. We are so quick to give it to everybody else, but we oftentimes don't know how to give it to ourselves, or we forget to. Basically, I would envision myself as a young child and envision Quan Yin giving me that compassion, because it was a bit too challenging for me at that point to give that to myself. So her giving that to my inner child was like a way of giving it to myself without me doing it, if that makes sense. I hope I didn't lose you on that. And that experience completely shifted the way that I approached self-compassion during that time anyway. And it definitely reminded me that sometimes we need energy or someone just to meet us where we are until we can meet ourselves there. So some of the lessons that Quan Yin teaches are active compassion, empathy being a choice, done consciously, and of course without losing our power. She teaches healing through presence. She reminds us that showing up, listening, witnessing alone can be enough to help someone transform. And she shows us that mercy is sovereignty. Offering mercy shows strength and alignment with wisdom. And maybe most importantly, self-compassion. She reminds us to listen to our own cries and care for ourselves first so that we can care for others. As you already know, we live in a fast-paced and hustle-focused world. Quan Yin invites us to slow down. Her energy reminds us that strength can be quiet, patient, and tender, and that is an incredibly powerful force. So as with every episode, of course, there's a little ritual that you can try to help you embody some of Quan Yin's energy. So we're going to start by finding a quiet space. You'll close your eyes and just breathe deeply for a few moments. And I invite you to either intend or visualize a soft glowing light in your chest, expanding with each inhale. As that soft, glowing light expands, you're going to bring to mind someone or yourself who needs care, healing, or support. And send the light to them. So as you breathe in, that light gets bigger and it envelops that person or it envelops you. And then see if you can extend that light even further. Extend it out to friends or your community, or maybe the town that you live in, the whole state, or the whole country. Maybe eventually it envelops the entire world. Just let it flow without expectations. From here, gently place your hands over your heart and repeat after me. I am a vessel of compassion. I hear the cries of the world. I give mercy without losing myself. Take a few minutes to feel the energy expand through you. Just pause, breathe, Just feel her energy for a moment. Maybe offer up a thank you. And that's that. Quan Yin reminds us that gentleness does not equal weakness. In fact, it's probably one of the strongest ways that you can go about life. This is not to say we don't need boundaries, because we do, but this is to say, can you go through life without letting it harden you? Can you stay soft in a world that's demanding you harden yourself? It takes an incredible amount of strength to be gentle. So if today's episode stirred something in you, share it with a fellow goddess, a soul sister, or someone ready to rise. And be sure to follow me for more Sacred Rebellion on TikTok and Instagram at Sovereign with Natalie. And for deeper resources and free rituals, sign up for my emailing list at www.sovereignsanctuary.space. Join me next week as we dive into the luminous, wisdom-filled energy of Sarasvati, the goddess of knowledge, creativity, and divine flow. Until then, stay powerful, stay sovereign, and keep rising, because the world doesn't need you quiet, babe. That's your divine download for the week. If this episode lit your fire, share it, leave a review, and subscribe so the flame keeps burning bright. If you want more Sacred Rebellion, you can come find me on Instagram and TikTok at Sovereign with Natalie. Remember, you are the storm. You are sovereign. Stay wild, stay sacred, and keep rising.